CS2 is completely filled with bots.
Then we have a fucking AI clanker, another AI clanker. I don't know how big the issue is, but there's thousands of these, bro. There's thousands. It's bad, bro. Millions? Calm down. We have 1 million players total. I actually wonder how big the problem is, chat.
Look, I don't need to be the one to tell you this, but CS2 right now is done for. More specifically, deathmatch that's just filled with case farming bots. And since the last update we got to VAC was Valve removing it, I've decided to build a little AI to hunt down these bots. Right, okay, lock in. Here's the plan. To fight these bots, I'm gonna make my own bot that joins deathmatch and records what every single player is doing. Where they're moving, where they're looking, how they aim, everything. I'll let it collect data for about 5 minutes, and then before the match ends, I'll go into spectator mode and watch each player. I'll label everyone I see as either a bot or a human, because I mean, look at this. And hopefully, if I do this across enough matches, our AI should be able to tell who's a bot. Now, I can't just throw all of this raw data into an AI model and pray that it'll work. It's not gonna. First, we gotta turn it into something it can actually understand. For example, this bot is constantly swaying left to right. Like, no normal person does this. Over the course of its life, we can record how much it sways left and right and compress that down into a single number. And this is called a feature. Now, if we give our AI enough features and enough data, hopefully it should be able to tell the difference between a human and a bot. Alright, enough boring stuff, let's actually detect some bots. So I coded up this first version and I got it working pretty quickly. What the f have I done? Work, bro. I would let it collect data for about 5 minutes and then I'll join spectator and go through every single player manually. And I would just write down in a database a 1 for a bot or a 0 for a human. And I did this for about 2 weeks, okay? Now, after this 2 weeks, I had about 100 pieces of data. I had about 50 bots and about 50 humans. And so now was time to train the model. Now, when you're doing this, you only want to use about 80% of your data to actually train on. The other 20% is reserved to just test that it's working. And this first version actually worked pretty well. So I think I fixed the thing. So it should now show us from this game. I'm stressing. It hasn't seen any of this data yet. Suspect, okay. If this is our guy, this is the number. Please. It's him! It's him! It's him, and it's got 99% certainty. Now, as you can see, I'm gassed. I think I've done it, right? It's over. I've proven that this can work. But I start looking at the data a little bit closer. Let's have a look. So we've got this guy, which is like 65%. But I just want to see who he is because that's me. This is me. Wait, it's because I've been spectating him the entire time. Wilma, sir, with that much, and Frank with that much. So I think I mean, let's have a look at Wilma, sir. I mean, we really should be able to detect this. Don't know what makes him different to the other two. We didn't get any false positives, which is a big thing, so. Now, as you can probably tell, I was pretty upset about this. I was so close, but so far. I had a little taste of it working, but just nothing reliable or really usable. I haven't proved anything. So yeah, I was a bit defeated. And so I started looking at the data. And I had screwed up some of the data collection. Basically, the feature that was measuring how far away a player is aiming from another player was completely broken. And because I knew that this was a really crucial piece of data, I had to throw it all away. And those 2 weeks were wasted. Now, I hadn't learned nothing, right? The main thing I had learned is this was way too slow. If I wanted this to be even slightly decent, I needed way more data. So I began thinking, how can I get more bot data? And that's when I decided to join Italy. Now, the first time I joined this hostage game mode, I got in the lobby and I immediately got kicked. No. I was kind of confused. I thought maybe they don't like me. Maybe they're having a private game. But later on I tried to join again, but this time I went immediately into spectator mode.
Got him. We fucking got him.
This entire lobby was filled with bots. And to make it even worse, every time a normal player joined, they would just auto kick them. Now, apparently this was a private game. It was just a private game for bots. These accounts were clearly just coordinating with each other so that they could identify who the real players were and kick them before anyone realized what was going on. They're just case farming off each other. If I could get into these lobbies consistently, I would basically have complete access to a whole lobby filled with bots. I could get so much data so quickly. But every time I would queue to find a new server, I would just get connected to the same Italy or office server. Now it turns out, because no one really plays hostage mode, there aren't really that many Valve servers running it. Now, there were two problems. I mean, number one, there was not even that many bots. The other problem is, these bots were really smooth. I mean, they clearly had a lot of processing power behind them. The bots in my normal deathmatch lobbies were slow and laggy, like whatever PC running them had 30 copies of CS open. If I trained on only the Italy bots, the model might learn to detect smooth bots and just completely miss the slower ones that I was actually trying to get. As we train it, it's not necessarily looking for it being a bot. It's just looking for consistent patterns. Now don't get me wrong, this was a significant finding, but I couldn't build what I wanted to on this. I needed more. And so I started brainstorming. Now I had heard rumours that the problem was much worse on Chinese servers. So I turned on a VPN and just joined a deathmatch and went straight into spectator mode. But something was off. Around about 80% of this lobby was just standing still. At first I thought they were just AFK, but that didn't make any sense. If they were AFK, they weren't earning points or case drops. But that's when it clicked. As soon as I joined a team, everyone started moving again. And then I went back into spectator and they all stopped. These bots were programmed to stop whenever anyone entered spectate mode. In trying to hide themselves, they'd accidentally given us a way to find them. This was the breakthrough. This is what I needed. All I needed to do was join an Asian deathmatch, sit in the lobby for 5 minutes, join spectator and see who stopped moving. So I just wrote a script to automatically do that. I would join the server automatically, I would collect the data automatically, and then I would join spectator and see who stopped moving. Then the script would leave the server and search for a new one. And the best part is I can just leave this running overnight. And this gave me so much data so quickly. It didn't take me 2 weeks, it took me about 2 days. And so I'd done it. I had all of the bot data, right? No. I now need human data. But humans won't stop moving because I'm in spectator mode, but some of the bots didn't stop either, so I still need a way to verify every label. And so this is where the final revision comes in. It's just one tiny little change, just one small thing. First we needed to create an automatic recording system that started recording when we enter spectator mode and then ends when we leave spectator mode and knows which player we're spectating at any moment, and then can split up the player recorded clips into player segments accounting for if a player died or disconnected. And then we needed to create a UI to display these clips under the respective player and then create a validated system that allows us to review each clip and mark each player as a human or a bot. So we can manually go through each player. Yeah, we're back at the start again. But the system worked really well. We were able to let it run automatically overnight in regular lobbies, and in the morning I could just quickly click through each clip for each player and mark it as a human or bot. And this actually allowed me to review lots of players really quickly without needing to be actually present at my computer. Now I could review a whole lobby in minutes instead of needing to sit through the entire match. But at the end, finally, after all of this, we had enough data, and it was time to train the AI. And it worked. It actually worked. The test results were strong, and in the few live games that I tried, it picked out every obvious bot I encountered. I had done it. Now, the dataset was still small, and there was one major limitation. Most of the bot data came from Asian servers, while the human data came from EU servers, so latency could have definitely influenced the result. But I think it's still a strong proof of concept that behavioral data could be used for identifying these farming bots. All of this happened 6 months ago, so why did it take me this long to make the video? I accidentally deleted almost all of the footage because I needed space to install Rust. Yeah, Rust. So some of what you've seen has had to be recreated. If you want to see me build a second version of this, just let me know. See ya.